right, y'all, this is Rashad G. So I got a different one for you here. I have first-time author Mildred Paige, Loretta Paige. Okay,
yeah.
The Auntie Lowe's after call because I can't say your name without thinking I'm going to get backhanded if I'm putting Auntie in front of me. So anyway, we're here to talk about the new book you just wrote, Still Full. First book ever reviewed on my channel. And, man, this book was something else, man. It was different, you know what I'm saying, to the fact that it doesn't follow the same tropes that a lot of other books follow. It was just so real and raw, and just you could tell it was from the heart. You know what I'm saying? It was very authentic. You know what I mean? So, so I just wanted to get you on wax here, talking about the process of you writing the book and the challenges that you face writing the book. So first of all, congratulations, and
Thank you.
And so how do you feel being a first time author?
You know what? I can't say it feels, like, woo, I'm a first time author. It doesn't feel like that, because this book, it came from a place of love and a place of pain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I wrote the book, and I felt it was in response to the Lord telling me to write a book to let everybody know who my husband was.
Okay.
And so that's what I set out to do.
Okay, so when did this idea originate? Like, what was the birth of the idea of, okay, I gotta write this book?
The birth of the idea came while I was in prayer.
Okay.
And I was in prayer, and praying. And it may have been, around the time that my husband passed, maybe a year or two later. And that was impressed in my spirit to write a book to let everybody know who my husband was. So that was how the idea came about.
Okay. So being that you never wrote a book before, like, did it feel like overwhelming? Like, okay, I want to write this book, because there's a big difference of I want to do something, but then actually doing it.
Yes.
So, when did you get to where? When did you get to where? Okay, I have to write this. I've never wrote a book before, but I'm gonna do this.
Yes. Okay. That was how it was. I've never written a book before, but I have to do this.
Yeah.
So I just started writing. I started writing. And so the first thing that was on my mind was my husband when he got sick, because that was the most recent thing that happened. When he got sick and he passed. So, but after I wrote about that, wrote it. Went through it and wrote that. Then I would go back like when we first met.
Right.
So that was how the book originally was. I started out from the sickness, then I would go back to how we first met, then I would go to something else, and I was going back and forth, like that. And what happened was I just continued writing. As this stuff came to my mind, I was writing. And of course, some stuff I didn't put it all in the book because I couldn't have. I think it would have been too long. But so after I started doing that, I asked this girl that lives out here, in the neighborhood. I asked her would she read the book for me to see if I had written a book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've never written a book. And so she read it, and when she finished, and she gave it back to me, she wrote this long letter. I have the letter. I still have the letter about how good the book was, and how you were so real and so honest, and how she said get you an editor. She said get an editor to help you with the structure of the book. She said, get an editor. She said, but don't let them take your voice. Right. Because your voice is what this book is.
That's the most important thing. Because like I was saying earlier, it doesn't follow the same, like a 3-act, in terms of movies, 3-act structure. I'm sure it's a different term in books, but you didn't follow that at all. But that was the beauty of the book, because you took us on a journey, on your journey. You know what I mean? And I just found myself so encapsulated by it, like, wow, like I feel like I'm in even though I was somewhat part of the story, but I wasn't in the story, you know, but I ain't gonna hold that against you. But I really felt like I was there. Like, you really took me there, even in those last moments where, where Vincent, was in his last days. Like, I felt that I was there, even though I wasn't. Okay. So with that being said, was there any point of you writing this where you said, okay, this is some deep, heavy stuff in here. I don't know if I can do this, because this is taking me back to a place where I was hurting at the lowest point of my life. I don't know if I can finish writing this. Did you ever get to that place?
I did it.
Okay.
I did it. I wanted to share my story, and I had to go there.
Okay.
I had to go there because I wanted other people to see my husband for who he was, see the love that God gave us, see where God took us from I said we were absolutely clueless as far as marriages and that type stuff and relationships and where we came from and where God, brought us to, and then, to where God gave us this marriage that I could never have dreamed of. And I tell God, I talk to him, sometimes I'm like, Lord, I said, you took me through all that to become Vincent's wife because I did it, and I delighted in being his wife. I said, then you take it.
Right.
Why you did that? I did this is how I talked to you, this is how I talked to you. I said, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
But and so I had to go there because I wanted others to feel my journey, to know my journey.
Right.
So that's why I did it.
Yeah, and what else I enjoyed about it, Auntie, was that you didn't sugarcoat anything. So, like, even though this book is about Vincent, rest in peace to Unc, man, one of the strongest men I've ever met in my life, man, father figure to me personally, you didn't paint him out to be a perfect person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, no diss to Tyler Perry, but like the perfect man, He wasn't the perfect man, and you documented that.
Yes.
So take me through that, like, what I'm saying, like, well, I know you wanted people to know who Vincent was, but you wanted them to know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. I wanted them to know the story. I wanted them to know who he was, say when I first met him. He was a drug dealer. Yeah. And I wanted people to know that because a lot of people knew him like right before he passed. Right. But they didn't know that part. Right. Even my sister, your mom said, I didn't know Vincent was a drug dealer. Yeah. It wasn't nothing we tried to hide. But yeah, he was a drug dealer, and even in our relationships, he cheated on me. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we had to get through that. And then, we were married, and still at the beginning of our marriage, it was like God had to take us through some stuff. Yeah, he was learning. Yeah. He was learning. It wasn't like you got to the place where you're Ozzie and Harriet. No, there was a whole process to get to the Ozzie and Harriet part. Like that's what everybody saw. Like, man, I want to be just like the Pages. Yeah. The Pages, that's goals right there. But this book shows like you have no idea. You have no idea. Like you was talking about how you had to grow as a person because you were so used to being independent and being a single mom and do everything yourself. You know what I mean? Yes. And then you had to humble yourself and be like, well, I have to let my husband take charge and I feel like a lot of young women can benefit from that because we live in a time now where I'm independent. I don't need no man. And you made it cool to say, hey, yes, I do. Yes, because that was me. I was good at being around. Right. I was working, like I say, I was able to go and get my own. Right. I didn't need Vincent for that. I didn't need my husband to do that. I was able to do that. So I said, in society grooms in women. Right. I'm going to say society grooms that independence in us. Right. Because it teaches us, go get your own, go get it, da. But how does that translate when it comes to a marriage? Exactly. How does that doesn't translate because if you have a man, they, they're not going to put up with this independent stuff. I needed this book 20 years ago when I got married. God do everything for a reason because, anyways. Yeah, but I feel like a lot of couples and women, even men, can benefit from that because, even as men, like you said, you didn't paint Vince out to be like this perfect person. He had to grow. He had to grow. Yeah, he had to grow. He had never had a family. And see, when I came in, I had 2 kids. Right. So that was something that he came into. Right. And so when he came in, he had to learn how to be a dad. How to be, my husband and all this stuff. Right. So that was something new for him. Yeah. So there was a struggle. There was a lot of, back and forth with us, because I had to become Loretta Vincent's wife. Right. And he had to become Vincent, my husband. Right. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot that God took us through, but he did. And we didn't understand what God was doing. But the end result was very much, okay, we see it, God, we see it. And another thing I noticed too, how you brought up childhood trauma from both sides, So it's like, okay, here we are trying to do this thing that we don't know about this. We didn't grow up with this. You know what I'm saying? You grew up with your situation and grew up with this situation. Very, I don't want to say toxic households, but they were hard. It was hard. It was dysfunctional. Yeah. Very dysfunctional. So to go from growing up dysfunctional like that and then coming together, then building this out of nothing. Yes. Was that intentional? Like, did you want that to be like, okay, I want people to see like, okay, you can come from this, but then
you can get to. It's not impossible to get to this point.
Yeah, you know, I want people to know, like we came from, like you say, building something. But see, it wasn't us. That's what I want you to know.
Right.
It wasn't us.
Right.
Both of us had to commit our lives to Christ.
Right.
Both of us.
Right.
And He's the one who did the building. It wasn't us.
Right.
And that's what I want people to see. Don't look at Loretta and Vincent and say, "Woo, you know, they just had it going on."
Yeah.
Because we would look at each other and say, "Boy, people just don't know."
That's
we
what
would
I'm saying.
look at each other and say, you know, people just don't know.
Listen,
you know,
I'll tell you, I heard all this stuff. They didn't pay just think all that. Lord, they just so perfect. They don't never do nothing wrong, you know. But the book illustrates something totally different. Like, you know, when you pull the blinds back, you're like, no, this is what we had to do to build a successful marriage.
Yes.
Okay, so now the book is written. Okay, you're ready to put it out to the world. Was there any fear, like, okay, what if people don't accept this? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what if people look at this and be like, oh, she's full of, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always, because when it comes to your art as a content creator, you're sensitive about your stuff. Like, to you, this is my heart. I put my blood and sweat into this.
Yeah.
But then there's a possibility you put it out there and nobody gives it, you know what?
Yeah.
Was there that concern?
No.
No?
Because I wrote this book out of obedience.
Okay.
I didn't write this book for me.
Okay.
You know, I didn't even write it for my husband.
Right.
I wrote this book because I believe God told me to write
it.
Right. So I wrote it out of obedience. So whatever happens with it, you know, Lord.
Let the chips fall where they may.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
You did your part.
I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah. But I feel like anybody that reads this book, though, will definitely take something away from it, because on the surface, like, it seems like it's a faith-based book, but it's faith-based. It's about marriage. It's about childhood trauma. It's about family. It's about, you know, when God doesn't answer your prayers.
Yes.
Like, one of the most powerful things you wrote in the book was when your daughter Fantasy was going through what she went through, you know, almost dying.
Yes.
And you prayed and you said, God, like, what do I have to do? Like, how much more do I have to pray?
Yes.
How much more do I have to fast? Like, what can I do to save my daughter? And you said, God told you it's not
what I do, but it's what He's already done. And when He said that, because, you know, you think, okay, here I was serving God. And so, you know, they teach us to pray, you know, and stuff like that. So when my daughter, you know, when she got sick, you know, I'm praying and she's at the brink of death. You know, the doctors have called us in and told us she, you know, probably not going to make it. So I'm like, Lord, I've seen, like, you know, I wrote the book. I've seen people that serve you, love you. I see that. And their loved ones get sick and they die. Right. And then I've seen others that look like you're the last person on their mind, and their loved ones get sick and they live. Right. So I'm like, Lord, what difference does it make? Do it even make a difference that I serve you? Right. You know, this is how I'm talking to Him. I'm like, Lord, what difference do I make? Does it make a difference? And I say, how much praying would I have to do for you to raise my daughter up? Right. And He said, it's not what you do, but it's what I've done. Yeah. And when He said that, you talking about the weight lifted off of me, because we feel like we have to pray. And if we pray hard enough, God is going to do it. And they tell you this in church. If your faith is strong, you know, God will do what you want Him to do. Right. You know, God's going to do what He's already done. Yeah. That's what He's going to do. So that's what He taught me.
And that's helped me out so much. Ever since reading that, I carry that in my day-to-day life every day. Like, when I'm faced with stuff, obstacles, I'm like, well, I hear that quote in my head. It's not what you do, it's what I've already done.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yes. And I like how you stripped away that whole, like, as a Christian, you can't question God about nothing.
Right.
Like, because we come from, you know, a place in church where if you question God, oh, how dare you question God? That's blasphemy. Yeah. You need to repent. Don't you ever question God. Right. But, you know, even in the Bible, God gets questioned. You know, it's okay to question God.
It's okay to question
As long as you still hit your knees and be humble and remember who God is. But it's okay.
Look. I don't want to just know what I hear from other people. Right. I want to know God for myself.
Right.
You know, God, I'm curious. I want to know you. You know, so when I go to Him, this is how I go. You know, I'm like, because I want to know you, God. Yeah. Show me who you are. Tell me who you are. Thank God for the person behind the pulpit is preaching and telling me that. But God, I want to know you for myself. Right. And that's what He did.
That's what He did. Yeah. And the fact that you lived this, so you're not just speaking on, you know, what you think or what your, objective is or whatever, but the fact that you actually lived it. So she don't know what she talking about. You lost your husband.
Yes.
And you prayed and you prayed. And the most heartbreaking thing about the book also is the fact that the cancer would go away. And then you were rejoicing, oh, God healed my husband. Went to church and everything. God healed my husband. And then it came back. It went away, then it came back. Went away, then it came back. Then you get to the point where, like, even Unc got tired, man. And that, well, I don't want to spoil too much. I want people to read the book. But there was a part in there where I read how the strongest man I knew actually, like, broke down and, like, cried. And that got me, man. I had to take a break. I had to put the book down. I said, God dang it, Auntie. I went and did one of these numbers, man. It tore me up. But, like, it's just so real, though, So we lose Uncle, we lose him because, we all lost him as a family, you know what I'm saying? You lost a husband, I lost an uncle, You got to move on now, But do you never really move on and heal, because they say time heals all wounds, but you never really heal from that, but you just learn how to live with it, right?
You know what? You learn how to live with it. Now, in the beginning, because, it's been 11 years since he's been gone.
Wow.
And in the beginning, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just, go to sleep and wake up.
Right.
And I felt lost.
Right.
Because I was so used to having him, and that's the thing. This is another thing, this is the part where I question, and I'm like, God, I said, you made me where I depended on him. He was my backbone, my strength, my confidant, my best friend, we were best friends. We did everything together. I didn't have another best friend.
Right.
He was my best friend. So, I would wake up almost running out, Lord, what do I do now? What do I do now? I was his wife. He's gone. What do I do now? But I continued praying. I just continued praying, and I continued seeking God, continued writing this book. Just writing the book, and continued praying, and continued seeking God. And I was telling Gail, maybe last week, I told Gail, and I think your mom was there too, but I was telling them. Because I would, as much as my heart was hurting and my heart was broken, I was saying, Lord, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I kept, because that's what we're supposed to do. Giving thanks and everything. We're supposed to, no matter what it is. And I would be praying and crying. I was saying, Lord, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. And I was saying it out of my mouth, but my heart wasn't there. My heart wasn't there. And I was telling them, I said, y'all, my heart done finally caught up with my mouth. Because now I can really celebrate what God gave us. I can celebrate my husband. I mean, sometimes I'm in here and, I hear music that we used to dance to, and I'm dancing and, just having a good time and celebrating him. And I'm so thankful that now my heart is caught up to my mouth.
Wow, that's powerful, because I've always heard that where, your brain doesn't know the difference between, so like sometimes we say like, oh man, I'm so stupid, oh man, I know, but your brain don't know the difference where you're joking and all it knows is what you're saying out your mouth. So I guess that's a form of manifestation where you kind of, even though you don't feel it, but you said it until you felt it. Until it lined up.
Until it lined up.
So manifestation is real.
Exactly.
Well, so the aftermath of it, how's the book been doing? Like, have you been getting good feedback on it?
I've been getting great feedback on it. People like telling me, wow, this book is so raw, so real, so honest.
Everything I said.
That? Everything you said. And one girl was even saying, with you being a part of the faith-based community, you didn't when you wrote the book, you didn't worry about somebody reading the book and saying, wow, why did she put that in there? Wow, why did she put that in there? And then my answer to her was, that's because I want it to be real. See, those people that say that stuff, they're not real. We all come from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like, we've all been through some things. And why not share them? Why not let people see not only the triumph, but let them see the trials. Let them see the hard stuff. So that's what I did with this book.
I want to end it with this, and I hope not to make it too deep, but if you can say one more thing to Vincent right now. If you can say one more thing to him, what would you say?
Now you got me with tears.
That's what I didn't want to make it too emotional. But if you could say one thing to him,
I would say, babe, thanks for just the life, the love that you gave me. Just Vincent's love continually chased me. Just continually pursued me. He was like this energy. He had this energy about him that, woo, come on, girl, let's do this. Come on, girl, let's do this. And what I could say to him was, man, you gave me so much love that am living off the memories. Because he told me before he passed, before he got sick. It was years ago. He was just talking like he does. That's what he does. Very confident. Very confident in what he said. And he said, girl, I'm going to love you so good, you're going to be able to live off the memories when I'm gone. And I think about it now, and I'm like, hey, guess what? I'm living off them memories. I'm living off. So that's what I would say to him. You did. You did it. He did it.
He did. I have a quick memory during the Henry Care years. This is back when he used to pick me up for work. And I was outside waiting because he was picking him up. He was picking us up. So I was outside waiting with the rest of the co-workers, right? And Vince was still inside working. And I guess you've been sitting out there for a while, right? So Nikki, she's like looking at you like, who? Lo, if I was you, I'd have been left him. Got me waiting all this long time. Vincent came outside. I don't know how you heard it through the door, but he came outside. He said, who? I got 20 years invested in that. You think she gonna leave me? Hey, he bust out laughing. I was like, yeah, that's the most Vincent Paige thing I ever heard.
I'm telling you, that's my man. That was my man. That's my man. That's my man.
You was sitting there patting that head. You right, Vincent. You right.
He's my man.
Yeah. I would show the book to the people and tell them where they can get it.
The book is available. It is available on Amazon. You can purchase it at Amazon. I have a Facebook author page under Loretta Paige. And you can also purchase it by using the link in my bio on that page, which if you have Amazon, I'd rather you, especially Amazon Prime, then go through Amazon Prime and purchase the book because that's better for you, with the free shipping and the time that, with it coming back. But if you don't have Amazon Prime, I'd rather you go through my link on my author's bio page because I get more through that link. I'm going to go ahead and be honest. I get more through that link. Amazon doesn't give you as much, but through that link, I will get more. And, it takes like 7 to 10 days to ship. But, I would rather you go through that page and purchase it if you're doing it,
And it's worth it. It's worth it. Have some Kleenex ready. Be ready to be inspired. You're ready to laugh. You're ready to just a whole wave of emotions, man. You're going to feel it all reading this book.
Yeah. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you. I'll be signing out. Peace.